Hi, my name is Sandi Blair, and this is the Singer's Corner, a show for singers and about singers. And today, my special guest is Miss Nedelka Prescott. Hi, I am so happy that you have consented to be a guest on this show. I just love you. I love the sound of your voice, and I just love your spirit and everything. So welcome.
Thank you, Miss Sandy. It's completely my honor. I call you Miss Sandy. You know, you family.
Right. Okay. Nedelka, I'd like to, find out more about you and let the viewing audiences know more about you. First of all, where were you born?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn. All right. Another
born
Brooklyn item. I'm from Brooklyn, too. We have to identify.
I know that's right.
Represent,
get my T-shirt right.
Right. Although I understand that you are from Panamanian heritage there.
Absolutely. I'm first. My sister and I, first generation Americans, and my parents and our grandparents are Panamanian.
Okay. Some of that Latino.
Latinas. Black lands.
So, but you were educated here
yes.
in New York, and
yes.
You studied music?
All my life, yeah. Mm-hmm. My dad's a music educator. He's a musician.
Oh, okay.
So he was my first music teacher.
Oh, okay.
He is my first music teacher.
Okay. That's good. Mm-hmm. That's good. Well, I want to know about your influences.
It would have to be my father.
Mm-hmm.
Classical musician. He was the first person I saw studying music, practicing music, recording himself on a reel-to-reel 4-track. He'd do these recordings of him for voices. Uh-huh. And then he was actually my junior high school music teacher.
Oh, that must have been hard.
You know what? Everyone else called him Daddy, and I kept calling him Miss Prescott, Mr. Prescott. Yeah, but he is a deep music teacher, and I still feed off of what he taught us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your songs are so spiritual. They come from a different place, and that's I think that's what I love the most about. And as a matter of fact, what kind of a composer would you call? Are you what we call a psalmist, or just straight out? Because you're writing a lot out of the Bible.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit. Definitely
everything is inspired by God, or situations where God has given me a revelation. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, it just so happens that you'll end up reading a biblical verse that corresponds, so you get to tie the two in, but everything I do has to do with God, is for God. So if that's what a psalmist is, then I receive that. And
you've always been that inspired. Did you do any other kind of genre of music ever in life?
I've always sung classical music.
Classical?
Yeah, I was trained classically. Like, I wasn't even allowed to really do gospel music. Because, older gospel music had a certain quality, and my father tried to keep my voice in that pure classical sound. But then I heard Ella Fitzgerald, and I was tampered with. So from there, it was that jazz feeling. But basically everything, it's hard for me to sing something unless the lyrics have meaning. And the lyrics that have the most meaning to me tend to be centered around God, around Jesus.
I heard that. And speaking of your voice, I hear you use, this is the Singer's Corner, right? I hear you go from chest to head and back and forth a lot, and with such ease.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, you make it look easy.
All right,
that's
you,
the whole point.
That's the anointing.
Right? I teach, and of course, I have special exercises to, deal with that passaggio area to try and get singers to go from chest to head with ease. So, what do you do? Give us a couple of secrets or something here if you can.
I also teach it, and the whole thing about it is practice. Mm-hmm. It's literally running the scales.
Say that again. Look,
practice.
Practice. So many singers think, give me a mic, I'll do this.
No. It's doing the scales, and there's something I always heard instrumentalists, because they call them musicians and us vocalists, but I consider myself a musician. They always talk about doing scales. And you just don't realize how important the scales are. Like, everyone wants to riff and have that certain style, but what are riffs based on but the scales? Mm-hmm. So running them from the top to the bottom to the top, and it gives you that fluidity. Not that I have that, working towards but
yeah. You're modest.
It's the practice.
Yeah, that's true. Something that always fascinated me listening to Patti LaBelle, just, do that whole chromatic thing, in 2 octaves and, and you were like, whoa, I just love how she does that.
And when did you breathe? Yeah.
Right. Breathing too is
that's
important.
Everything.
Yeah. So, and that's something, that I would like to find out about, because this is a show for singers, to let them know, what other singers have perfected. And the fact that you sit down to the piano, is there any particular position that you have to get in so that you're breathing more properly?
Just the whole sitting up straight. So that everything is open, everything goes straight through, like not full crouching.
Right.
Yeah, but definitely do breathing exercises before, just, as meditational purposes, and then you just get used to and letting that flow come out, controlling how much on the slow leak, it's the same thing when you sing. It's about how much air you let out at one time. You're in control of that.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to hear someone else say it for a change. I'm constantly trying to get my students to understand it. So tell me, are you teaching now?
I do.
Yeah, you're an educator. Is that in the school system or privately?
I freelance educate. Working towards being a consultant. Also teaching teachers how to teach music. But I don't necessarily teach just piano or vocals. As a vocalist, it's important that you learn how to accompany yourself. It's a big phenomenon now. No one is in a set band that I know of, because musicians, that's their gig. They have to go from place to place.
Right.
So it's hard for if you're a struggling artist to get quality musicians with you. So, but then what are you going to do? You have to sit at that keyboard and just work it out. And a couple of months ago, I wouldn't even sit in front of anyone and do it, but what is it? Necessity is the mother of invention.
I've heard that.
So I had to, and
yeah, well, you do that pretty well. So your training is in classical voice.
Yes.
And what about your piano?
Classical.
Oh,
it was and for those classical musicians out there, they're like, where? The training, the technique was in there, and then when I started to take it serious, I understood what I gleaned from the classical music was maybe the quality and a sense of refinement and precision. But I really, really, really enjoy jazz chords, and then singing that within gospel music, it's just. They call that new jazz or new gospel or whatever.
Right. I think that's what I heard. It just, I went, oh my God, I love her.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.